හරිම සුමුදුයි.
Tonight, on First at 9 this Monday, the 15th of January 2024. Agriculture 2.0. President Wickremesinghe stresses that the government's agriculture modernization program will be pivotal in revitalizing the industry. Dat. Several health sector trade unions threaten another token strike as they battle redress for the DAT allowance given only to doctors. LP gas shocker. Auditor General's report reveals massive financial wastage over inefficient procurement procedure from 2022. Finance upgrades. Sweeping reforms await Sri Lanka to enhance best practices for business, leasing, consumer protection and digital currency, per CBSL Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe.
Phase 2 the master plan consolidation of non-bank financial institutions commencing in 2024 with a view to building strong and stable non-bank financial institution NBFIs.
ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දෙනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
නියම මෝල්ට් සාරය සමග මැලිබන් මෝල්ට් දැන් රුපියල් 750ක් පමණයි.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and a warm welcome to today's edition of AdaDerana's English News First at 9. This is Jonathan Benedict. Firstly, happy Thai Pongal. Starting off our top stories today, devotees island-wide celebrated the start of the Hindu harvest festival Thai Pongal today. The multi-day festival is celebrated by Tamils the world over. In his message to the Sri Lankan people, President Ranil Wickremesinghe highlighted that the idea that rooted in the belief of the pivotal role of agriculture in rejuvenating Sri Lanka's economy through the government's agricultural modernization program, the dawn of Thai symbolizes the inception of a promising journey filled with hope and prosperity. Thai Pongal, the multi-day Hindu harvest festival, predominantly celebrated by peoples of Tamil ethnicity, is marked today. The festival celebrates the start of Thai, the 10th month in the Tamil calendar, which is considered to be auspicious. The word Pongal means to boil or overflow, which symbolizes prosperity and abundance. The Hindu community dedicates the festival to thank the Hindu god Surya for agricultural abundance. The festival was celebrated with exuberance across the island today. This year's National Reconciliation Thai Pongal Festival was held at the Ayyanayaka Kovil, Karaina Gajratna, under the patronage of Minister of Justice Dr. Vijayadas Rajapaksa. The Thai Pongal Festival, organised by the Tamilan newspaper, was held at the Kathiresan Kovil in Bamblapitiya. The celebration was graced by entrepreneur Dilip Javira. In his message to mark the festivities, President Ranil Wickremesinghe stated that beyond its agricultural essence, Thai Pongal heralds a fresh start, a time to relinquish the past and welcome new opportunities with unwavering optimism. He added that rooted in the belief of the pivotal role of agriculture in rejuvenating Sri Lanka's economy through the government's agricultural modernization program, the dawn of Thai symbolizes the inception of a promising journey filled with hope and prosperity. The President went on to state that Thai Pongal also serves as a reminder of the value of equality, adding that he urges everyone to come together with determination, akin to the unity of siblings, to realize new hopes for the country's future. In the meantime, marking the occasion, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that this year's Pongal festival will be motivation for the active concept of food security and rural revitalization in the face of the current situation. Concurrently, Opposition Leader Sajith Premadasa too issued a message to mark the day. In his message, the Opposition Leader highlighted that following a challenging year marked by the nation's economic struggles, Sri Lanka now faces another year filled with various issues. He went on to state that overcoming these obstacles, transcending barriers of caste, religion, colour or tribe, is imperative. He urged Sri Lankans everywhere to embrace the essential blessings bestowed by the natural world and embark on a transformative journey towards making the nation a world leader. Several health sector employees' trade unions are scheduled to launch yet another 24-hour token strike beginning tomorrow in protest of the government's decision to increase the disturbance availability and transport allowance or DAT allowance for doctors by 35,000 rupees. However, Secretary to the Government Medical Officers Association, Dr. Harith Alutke, highlighted that this trade union action is unfair, further emphasizing that those who are to engage in the token strike should not be put into the same category as doctors.
On the 9th of January, a joint token strike was launched by multiple trade unions in the health sector, demanding an allowance of 35,000 rupees in line with the government's decision to increase the disturbance, availability and transport allowance or the DAT allowance for doctors by 35,000 rupees to 70,000 rupees. On the 10th of January, a 48 strike was initiated by trade unions attached to the paramedical services front. However, the Health Ministry did not respond to any concerns of those employees of the health sector. As such, the health sector employees' trade unions are scheduled to launch another 24-hour token strike starting from 6:30 am tomorrow in protest of the government's decision to increase the disturbance, availability and transport allowance for doctors by 35,000 rupees.
සෞඛ්‍ය සේවාවේ වෘත්තීය සමිති 52කට ආසන්න සංඛ්‍යාවක් එකතු වෙලා වෛද්‍ය නොවන අනිකුත් සියලුම වෘත්තීන් හෙට දින පෙරවරු 8 ඉඳලා පැය 24ක සංකේත වැඩවර්ජනයක් ආරම්භ කරනවා. මේක සෞඛ්‍ය සේවාව නම් මේක වෛද්‍ය සේවාව නෙවෙයි නම් සියලු සෞඛ්‍ය කාර්ය මණ්ඩලය ගැන සාධාරණ ඉෂ්ට කරන්නට ඕනේ. සමහර අය කියන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා මේ ඩැට් කියන්නේ වෛද්‍ය වෘත්තිකයන්ගේ එකක් විතරයි කියලා. අපිට ඒක ඩැට් දෙන්න අමාරු නම් ඩැට් කියන්නේ වෛද්‍යවරුන්ගේ බූදලයක් නම් අපිට කැට් හරි පෙට් හරි රැට් හරි කියලා දෙන්න දෙන්න නැතුව ඕනෑම නමකින් මේ ආර්ථික යුක්තිය ඉෂ්ට කරන්න කියන එක තමයි අපි සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශයට සහ අමාත්‍ය මණ්ඩලයට කියන්නේ. ඒ නිසා මේ රටේ මහ ජනතාවගෙන් අපි ඉල්ලනවා අපිට සමා වෙන්න මේ වෙලාවේ ඔබ සිටිය යුත්තේ අපේ පැත්තේ. අපි හමුදාවටත් කියනවා මේ වර්ජණයට කඩාකප්පල් කරන්න අනියම් විදියට මැදිහත් වෙන්න එපා.
The nursing associations that are not joining the strike tomorrow are ready to take trade union action in the future.
රාජ්‍ය සේවා එක්සත් සේවසංගම ඉදිරියේදී ගත යුතු මඟ කුමක්ද කියන එක 16 වෙනිදා මහා සමාජිකත්වයේ ඉදිරියේදී පැවැත්වෙන රැස්වීමේදී අපට තීන්දුවක් ගන්න සිද්ධ වෙලා තිබෙනවා.
රෝගීන් ගැන හිතලා සාකච්ඡාවකින් ඕන දෙයක් කරන්න කැමති 16 වෙනකම් කල් දීලා තියෙනවා. මේකට කන් දෙන්නේ නැත්නම් අපි 17 වෙනිදා අපේ වර්ජනය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා.
However, the Government Medical Officers Association stated that the token strike to be launched tomorrow is an unfair trade union action.
එලියට බහලා ඉන්න සෞඛ්‍ය අනිකුත් කණ්ඩායම් වලින් බහුතරයක් අයිති වෙන්නේ ද්විතීයික ශ්‍රේණියට. තවත් කණ්ඩායමක් ප්‍රාථමික ශ්‍රේණියට අයිති වෙන්නේ. ඒතකොට වෛද්‍යවරු අයිති වෙන්නේ ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ මට්ටමට. ඒතකොට රාජ්‍ය සේවය තුළ මේ තියෙන බෙදීම නිශ්චිතව ඇති කරලා තියෙන්නෙම සාධාරණත්වය එන පදනමක් ඔස්සේ. හමුදාවේ ඉන්න ජෙනරල් කෙනෙකුට ලැබෙන ඒ වරප්‍රසාද ඒ දීමනා සියල්ල ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැනේ. කෝප්‍රල් කෙනෙකුට ඒ අය උත්සාහ කරන වෛද්‍යවරුන් සමග සමාන වෙන්න. ඒක කවදාවත් වෙන්නේ නැති දෙයක් සහ නොවිය යුතු දෙයක්. අනීතික වැඩවර්ජන ක්‍රියාවලියක්.
The Sri Lanka Auditor General's Department stated that the government had to bear an additional cost of $3.1 million during the economic crisis in 2022 due to the cancellation of the term tender and import of liquefied petroleum or LP gas at higher rates. The Auditor General revealed this through a special audit report compiled on the procurement of Litrogas Lanka Limited for the 2022-2023 years.
A special audit report compiled by the Auditor General's Department has stated that as the period of the awarded term procurement agreement for the supply of LP gas for 2020 to 2022 had to be terminated on the 28th of February 2022, the selection of a new supplier for the year 2022 to 2023 and the award of the procurement should have been executed before 10th March 2022. The report said that even though the procurement activities for 2022 to 2023 had to commence by September 2021, it had been delayed till January 2022 due to various reasons, with Siam Gas Trading Private Limited Singapore being selected the supplier for 2022-2023 based on the procurement process that commenced on 9th January 2022. OQ Trading Limited Dubai UAE, which had been the previous supplier, had submitted objections for this selection and had appealed against the selection. However, the appeal committee had recommended Siam Gas Trading Company. Meanwhile, the Litrogas company had stated in the relevant bid documents that it would provide a standby letter of credit on the invitation of bids, for which the Cabinet of Ministers had granted approval on the 13th of June 2022 to initiate a new procurement by also considering the failure of Litrogas company to provide the agreed standby letter of credit within the prevailing economic situation as a reason. Despite obtaining the approvals of the procurement and evaluation committees to avoid the relevant procurement of 1 metric ton LP gas to Siam Gas Trading Private Limited at the price of CP plus $96, and despite the selection of Siam Gas Trading Private Limited after the appeal made on the 28th of May 2022, the government of Sri Lanka had to bear an additional cost of $3.1 million or 1,138 billion rupees amidst the economic crisis due to the cancellation of the term procurement and the purchasing of gas at a higher price than the scheduled price. Further, Siam Gas Trading Private Limited had expressed its willingness to supply gas at a price of CP plus $102 for the months of May and June 2022, and even though Litrogas Company had indicated that the company had not taken the necessary forward steps due to the insufficient validity period of 2 days provided to the company, occasions of taking certain decisions within 1 day could be observed. Accordingly, when comparing the price of CP plus $102, which was mentioned above and for which Siam Gas Trading Private Limited had agreed to, the government of Sri Lanka had to pay an extra amount of $56,256, keeping in mind the economic crisis due to the purchase of 16,546 metric tons of gas at CP plus $105.40 from OQ Trading Limited. Further, it has been revealed that the action had not been taken to utilize the amount of $120 million agreed to be granted to Litrogas Company out of the amount of $1 billion received under the Indian Credit Scheme. The Litrogas Company had paid a sum of $713,556 and Litrogas Company had paid a sum of $713,556 as demurrages for the period from 22nd of October 2021 to 18th of March 2022 due to the ordering of gas ships by the company without a proper cash flow estimate or without a confirmation of the funding and other reasons.
As the Yuktiya special police operation continued through today, the police were able to apprehend an individual who had been engaged in the distribution of drugs via the use of food delivery bags in the Kirlapana and Pannipitiya areas. Further questioning led to the identification of a much larger consignment of drugs with nearly 100 bullets, which was kept hidden by the suspect in question. In line with the Yuktiya special police operation to curb the island-wide distribution of narcotics, an investigation was carried out within the Enderamula police area last afternoon. The operation was conducted based on information received by the Intelligence Division of the Police Special Task Force. During the raid, an individual distributing drugs under the guise of an employee of a tax-hailing company was arrested. It was revealed that the suspect in question had used a food delivery bag for the purpose of distributing narcotics. The suspect had 25 grams of crystal methamphetamine in his possession at the time of the arrest. Following further questioning, the police were able to take 332 grams and 800 milligrams of crystal methamphetamine, 50 grams and 300 milligrams of heroin, and 97 9mm bullets, which were kept hidden in Kirlapana and Pannipitiya, into custody. It was further revealed that the suspect in question is in contact with a crime gang member residing in Dubai, who is regulating drug running and contract killings. In a separate development, the Computer Crime Investigation Division of the Criminal Investigation Department discovered electronic equipment used by a group of Chinese nationals to operate a company which defrauded the public's funds through an online platform.
අපිට අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න පුළුවන් වුණා මේ ස්ථානීය සෝයිසි කළා පරිගණක කාටක් ලැප්ටොප් 13ක් ජංගම දුරකථන 49ක් කැමල් ෂිප් ස්ටාර් VIP රෝස් ලෝන් වගේ නම් වලින් තමයි මේවා පවත්වාගෙන ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ මෙවැනි ස්ථාන තවදුරටත් තියෙන්නට පුළුවන් අපිට ජනතාවට කියන්න තියෙන විශේෂයෙන්ම මෙවැනි දේවල් වලට හසුවන්නට එපා ඔබගේ තියෙන ආර්ථික අපහසුතාවයක් තියෙනවා නම් ලියාපදිංචි ආයතනයකින් ණය ලබා ගැනීමට කටයුතු කරන්න ඔන්ලයින් ණය දෙන ස්ථානත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න එපා ගෝවුන් විසින් ඔබ නැදුනත් ඔබගේ ජංගම දුරකථනයේ තියෙන තොරතුරු ලබාගෙන ඔබගේ සම්පූර්ණ පෞද්ගලික
Former President and leader of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Maithripala Sirisena, says that in the coming presidential election, it is vital that the general public choose an experienced leader with proper knowledge on public administration to revive the country's economy. With that, let's look at what happened in the political arena today.
රටේ කෘෂිකර්මාන්තයේ නියැලී සිටින බොහෝ දෙනා වැරදි ප්‍රතිපත්ති නිසා දැඩි අසරණ භාවයකට පත් වෙලා සිටිනවා. හිටි හැටියේම ශනිකවම භාවිතා කරන පොහොර වර්ග පාලකින් විසින් වෙනස් කිරීම තුළ මෙරට ගොවිතැනේ නියැලෙන ජනතාව අන්ත අසරණ භාවයට පත් වුණා. කඩා වැටී තිබෙන කෘෂි කර්මාන්තය ගොඩ ගැනීමට නම් තාක්ෂණික වශයෙන් අපි ඉදිරියට යන්නට ඕන.
ජනාධිපතිවරණයක් ආවොත් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේ රටේ ජනතාව අවදියකින් ඉන්නවා මේ ගැන. ජනතාවට මේ කාලේ ඉල්ලන්නේ හොඳ ශක්තිමත් නායකයෝ, කොන්ද බල තියෙන නායකයෝ. ඒවා නිවැරදි කරන්න පුළුවන් යම් කිසි දක්මක් තියෙන නායකයෝ අවශ්‍යයි.
පීඩාවට පත් කරන ලද පීඩකයා හා පීඩිතභාවයට පත් වූ ජනතාව අතර තීරණාත්මක සටන මේ 2024 ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා. සහතික වශයෙන් අපි මේක ජයග්‍රහණයෙන් කෙලවර කරමු. අපි අනිවාර්යයෙන් මේ 2024 ඒ දේශපාලනය අවසන් කොට හදන දේශපාලන අපේ රටේ ස්ථාපිත කළ යුතුයි. හරියට කෙලින්ම කිව්වොත් අපි බලය ගන්න ඕන. මාලිමාව ජයග්‍රහණය කරලා මේ දේශපාලන පරිවර්තන ඇති කරන්න අපි පොරබදමු.
දැන් ජනතා විමුක්ති පෙරමුණ කියනවා මීට කලින් මේ රට බාර මුදුන්න කෙනෙකුට අලුත් කට්ටියකට රට බාර දෙන්න. දැන් මේ රට වැටලා තියෙන තත්ත්වයේ හැටියට මේ රට ගොඩ ගන්න අත්හදා බැලීම් කරන කාලයක් නෙවෙයි මේක. මේක රට ගොඩ ගන්න අත්දැකීම් තිබෙන පරිණතභාවයක් තිබෙන රාජ්‍ය පාලනයේ සෑහෙන කාලයක් හිටපු දූෂණයෙන් තොර අවංක නායකයෙක් මේ රටට අවශ්‍යයි.
Now in news in brief, a bus travelling on the Southern Expressway went up in flames near the Beliata interchange. Police stated that no one was injured in the accident. The blaze was soon subsided. Further north in Kalutura, however, a tragic accident occurred at the Kalu River when 3 students aged 15, 16 and 18 were reported dead after drowning. With that, let's take a look at other developments from around the island.
A Badulla Colombo bus travelling on the Southern Expressway caught on fire near the Beriata interchange. The Southern Expressway Police, the Police Special Task Force, fire and rescue personnel and public were able to control the fire. No injuries were reported following the incident. A 69-year-old woman who was crossing the road near the Hikado junction was run over by a bus that resulted in her death. In Kalutura, meanwhile, 3 students aged 15, 16 and 18 were reported dead after drowning in the Kalu River. A group of 11 persons had gone for a swim in the lagoon area at around 4:30 p.m. yesterday. The police stated that the 3 students who drowned were already declared dead at the time of admission to hospital. Further investigations into the incident revealed that a group of 11 individuals had gone swimming in celebration of the birthday of a mother of one of the deceased students.
Welcome back. Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe says that the central bank expects to improve the stability of the country's non-banking sector during the year and will amend the existing regulatory framework to align with current market developments, including amendments to the Finance Business Act and the Finance Leasing Act. Speaking at the annual policy statement announcement for the 2024 year, the central bank chief also said that he expects a significant growth in electronic payments and therefore will revise the Payment and Settlement Systems Act and the existing regulatory sandbox framework to facilitate more fintechs to enter the country.
Phase 2 the master plan consolidation of non-bank financial institutions commencing in 2024 with a view to building strong and stable non-bank financial institution (NBFIs). Further amending the existing regulatory framework to align with current market developments, like the Banking Act, will be amending existing regulatory framework to align with current market developments, including amendments to the Finance Business Act as well. So there has to be amendment to the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011, and also, as I said, Financial Leasing Act of number 56 of 2000. The introduction of revisiting rules and regulations to improve the stability of non-banking sector, while strengthening and supervisory review process are also expected to improve the stability of this sector. Further, central bank would support the authorities in establishment and implementation of the regulatory framework under the proposed Microfinance and Credit Regulatory Authority Act. But central bank will certainly help the government to establish this regulatory authority. The act, as proposed by the central bank, seeks to improve market conduct and consumer protection and include unregulated money lenders within the regulatory purview, in addition to licensed microfinance companies. So that we are seeing a lot of noises these days: unregulated money lending and unfair practices and market conduct. The whole will be coming under the Microfinance and Credit Regulatory Authority Act once it is passed by the Parliament. Then our other important responsibility is on the payment and settlement, which is another important area that we want to do more this year. Central Bank continue to ensure the smooth operations of the payment and settlement system of the country during 2023 and expects significant growth in digital transactions in 2024. With the view of the development of payment and settlement regulatory framework, Central Bank aims at revising the Payment and Settlement Act number 28 of 2005, that's already in draft, and enacting new PSSA, Payment and Settlement System Act, in 2025. So there's another act will be enacted in 2025. We are working drafting that. This is to facilitate the rapid expansion of payment innovation. Everywhere this has been developed much faster than Sri Lanka. We have been lagging behind. We want to catch up, and that will certainly improve efficiency, productivity, and make it easier for businesses. This is an important initiative. We want to expedite this process this year. Further, Central Bank expects to revise regulations to support the expansion of digital payments and to revise the existing regulatory sandbox framework to facilitate more fintechs entering the regulatory sandbox. That's encourage fintechs to bring in new innovations and solutions. To promote digital transactions and remittances via e-money services, value limits of enhanced e-money accounts and basic e-money accounts were increased with effect from 1st of January. So that's with the intention we already increased the values limits on these e-money accounts. Further, Lanka QR would be extended because this has been there for some time but has not been very effective. At this time, Lanka QR would be extended to enable the use through foreign payment apps so that both local customers and foreigners may utilize Lanka QR for payments in Sri Lanka. That's why we are working with UPay in India also and some other arrangements so that those will be implemented soon.
Malwatha Valley Plantations PLC announces a new director to its board, while Asia Capital PLC announces the appointment of shipping magnate Rajaratha as its managing director. With that, let's take a look at today's corporate news segment.
Malwatha Valley Plantations PLC announced the appointment of Dilantha Stephen Senaviratne as the non-executive director to the company with effect from the 10th of this month. In its corporate disclosure, the company announced that the date of appointment of Senaviratne will be announced in due course. Asia Capital PLC also announced the appointment of a managing director to the company's board. Consequently, Rajaratha was appointed as the managing director of the company with effect from the 9th of January. The company further confirmed that Radha does not hold any shares of the company as to date. In the meantime, Candy Hotels disclosed the resignation of an alternate director of the company. Accordingly, C.S. Karunasena resigned from the post of alternate director of P. Madhumage on the board of directors of the company with effect from the 31st of December 2023. The company's corporate disclosure further highlighted that Karunasena does not have relevant interest in the shares of the company as of the date of his resignation.
The International Monetary Fund, in a new report, said that almost 40% of global employment will be affected as artificial intelligence evolves. The report said that advanced economies face greater risks from AI, but also harness more opportunities to leverage its benefits compared with emerging markets and developing economies. Accordingly, the IMF recommends that advanced economies should prioritize AI innovation and integration while developing robust regulatory frameworks. A new report by the International Monetary Fund says that in advanced economies, about 60% of jobs may be impacted by artificial intelligence. Roughly half the exposed jobs in commerce may benefit from AI integration, enhancing productivity, while the other half may see AI applications executing key tasks currently performed by humans, which could lower labor demand, leading to lower wages and reduced hiring. In emerging markets and low-income countries, by contrast, AI exposure is expected to be 40% and 26% respectively. These findings suggest that emerging markets and developing economies face fewer immediate disruptions from AI, as many of these countries don't have the infrastructure or skilled workforce to harness the benefits of AI, raising the risk that over time, the technology could worsen inequality among nations. The report said that AI will likely worsen overall inequality, a trend that policymakers must proactively address to prevent the technology from further stoking social tensions. It is crucial for countries to establish comprehensive social safety nets and offer retraining programs for vulnerable workers. The IMF has also developed an AI preparedness index that measures readiness in areas such as digital infrastructure, human capital and labor market policy, innovation and economic integration, and regulation and ethics. The regulation and ethics component assesses the adaptability to digital business models of a country's legal framework and the presence of strong governance for effective enforcement. The findings reveal that wealthier economies, including advanced and some emerging market economies, tend to be better equipped for AI adoption than lower-income countries, though there is considerable variation across the countries. Singapore, USA and Denmark posted the highest scores on the index based on their strong results in all 4 categories that were tracked. Global stocks held broadly steady on Monday as US markets closed for a holiday, and Chinese equities fell slightly after the country's central bank unnerved investors by skipping an expected rate cut. Despite today's sleepy start, however, investors are set for a busy week with data on Chinese fourth quarter growth, UK inflation and US retail sales all due on Wednesday.
China's CSI 300 index fell to its lowest since 2019 but finished 0.1% lower as investors digested the central bank's decision to leave its medium-term policy rate unchanged on Monday, defying the expectations for a cut. MSCI's World Stock Index was slightly lower in European trading, and it has fallen around 0.35% so far this year after rallying 20% in 2023. Traders expect around 165 basis points of rate cuts from the Fed this year and see an 80% chance of them starting in March, according to money trading pricing. Futures for the S&P 500 were down 0.1%, with the US markets shut for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, meaning Treasury trading was closed. Europe's Stock 600 index was down 0.3% on Monday as a rise in Eurozone bond yields dented the appeal of stocks. It ended the previous week virtually unchanged. Japanese stocks continue to shine, with the Nikkei 225 index hitting a new 34-year high above 36,000.
Moving on to the oil market, oil prices lost more than 1% on Monday today as the Middle East conflict's limited impact on crude output prompted profit-taking after oil benchmarks gained 2% last week. Brent crude futures were down $1.14 at $77.15 a barrel, and US West Texas Intermediate crude lost $1.15 to close at $71.53 a barrel. Several tanker owners steered clear of the Red Sea, and multiple tankers changed course on Friday after US and Britain launched strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen after the Iran-backed groups attacked on shipping in response to Israel's war against Hamas in Gaza. The conflict has also held up at least 4 liquefied natural gas tankers traveling in the area. Goldman Sachs observed that as the Middle East conflict is currently not affecting oil production, geopolitical risk premium priced oil prices now appear modest based on the implied volatility of options. There have been no supply losses so far, but the shipping disruption is indirectly tightening the market by keeping 35 million barrels at sea, owing to longer journeys shippers have to take to avoid the Red Sea. In Libya, people protesting against perceived corruption threatened to shut down 2 more oil and gas facilities after shutting the 300,000 barrel per day Sharara field on the 7th of January this year. The economic situation also remains gloomy somewhat, and the European Central Bank last week warned against slashing interest rates too quickly. That's all the news I have for you for this evening. Join us again tomorrow. For now, this is Jonathan Benedict wishing you a blessed week ahead and a good night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit AdaDerana.lk.